Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Talk, a podcast where we talk about various technology-related topics and try to dive deep into one of the topics every week. Today, Amit and we're going to talk about NFT, a really popular and much requested topic. NFT has been popular for quite a few months now, and it is something very interesting, and it also goes along quite well with some of the other topics we've covered, like cryptocurrency, blockchain, CBDC, even a little bit, etc. So a lot of you have requested, and it's a very, very trending topic, even in Google Trends and in many other social media platforms as well. We wanted to cover it, but we wanted to obviously know about this a little bit more, and we have some knowledge. We looked into it, and we feel like it's very interesting to talk about it with you guys, because a lot of people are willing to find out more, and what better way than this podcast. So thank you very much, guys, for joining, and let's dive right in. So Amit, I'll start with a question. What do you what is NFT?
Well, don't ask me. But I think we selected a good topic because in our last podcast we spoke about metaverse, and we said that one of the things that people can do in metaverse is buy digital assets like a piece of land, like a piece of clothing, piece of a house, etc. And in order for them to buy something online which is very unique and it can't be replicated, you need some kind of a payment like a currency. And that is basically being fulfilled by NFTs. And Facebook and many other companies are now behind creating their own kind of NFTs and using it in their platforms. So I think it is the next big thing, because if people are going to the digital universe, then you need some kind of token or a currency, and that will be one of the things. So NFTs, I
Um,
think they stand for non-fungible token, but that's what I know. Can you elaborate, Rinat?
Yeah, sure. So just obviously, because it's a sort of a cutting edge new technology, everyone's definition vary a little bit. But I personally wouldn't call it currency. These are like more of an
Okay,
artifact, I would call it.
artifacts. Okay.
So NFT stands for non-fungible token, and although fungibility is an English word, it's not. It hasn't been a very commonly spoken word for until recently. So a lot of people don't understand what fungibility means. So let me give an example. For example, if you have a note, if you're in the UK, you have British pounds as £5 notes, £10 note, etc. Or if you're in somewhere else, in America, you have dollars as pieces of paper, but they represent a value. Uh, and an important thing is each of a £10 note or a $1 note represent the same value. There are multiple copies of it,
Yes. Yeah.
but they all represent the same value. So basically, if I, for example, take a £10 note and mush it up, but then open it up again, it's not going to lose its value. I can then give it to you, and then get two £5 notes in return, or get another £10 note in return, and you would be fine with it. Anyone would. And that property of note is called fungibility. So there are many copies of it out in the market, and they're all replaceable by each other.
Okay, so
So
cash is replaceable. Yes. So like
yes, the
one
piece of
Bitcoin is
paper.
equivalent to another Bitcoin, and you can exchange
Yes,
Bitcoin, the value is the same.
yes,
Okay. So
absolutely.
that's
So
fungibility.
yes, so these things are fungible. But the picture of Mona Lisa that is in museum, Louvre Museum, I think it is.
Louvre Museum in
Yes.
Paris.
So if you take a picture, go and take a photograph of Mona Lisa, the painting, and then you print it out in a really, really, high quality printer, it's still not going to be the same as owning the original Mona Lisa. That would be millions and millions of dollars or pounds. But the copy of that artwork is not going to be the same as the original artwork itself. And it's not just a picture of Mona Lisa. Usually all artwork in a way are unique in their, in their existence. So the artist, purposefully creates an artwork, and that artwork, the original piece, is not replicable or copyable. And even if you do make a copy of it, the original one remains its, keeps its value.
Yes.
You wouldn't transfer. And even if it is, even if it is, for example, in my definition, I said taking a picture of Mona Lisa, but forget about taking a picture. But a really good artist, if they copies and paints a Mona Lisa drawing, atom by atom, and it's exactly the same, even then it's not going to have the same value, even though they are materially similar or same. Even then, the original one will remain its value. So this property, so in this scenario, the painting of Mona Lisa is non-fungible because it's not exchangeable like a note is or like a Bitcoin is.
Okay.
So how do we sort of replicate this behavior, this non-fungibility in digital world? We can do it by etching this information of ownership into blockchain. As we know, blockchain is a public public ledger. Everyone knows, which account owns how much cryptocurrency or whatever. So it's publicly known who owns what at which point. So if we add this piece of information in the public ledger, in Ethereum blockchain or some new cryptocurrency blockchains that have started, like Solana, I think one of them, they create smart contracts where you could add more information rather than just transaction information. You could say that, okay, this piece of Bored Ape, which is a popular NFT, is owned by this, wallet or this person. Because wallet usually...
But hang on. So I have a question. So yes, you're right. We can store it in the ledger that this piece of information is owned by that person. But information on a digital platform can be copied. So like a computer file. So I can copy a Word document and I can create another one. Of course.
Absolutely.
So how do you differentiate?
That is very interesting. So, for example, Bored Ape is a very popular NFT, and they have 1,000 unique pictures, which is what they represent, and they are being sold in NFT marketplace. And it's a digital image, and you could easily copy that image and save it as your screensaver. But the person who owns the image as who officially owns it is declared in the public blockchain, that this person paid and this NFT belongs to this person, and everyone knows, it's public, and anyone can go and check it out who is the original owner of it. So yes, you can copy that picture and you could print it, you could frame it and hang it in your walls or save it in your screensaver, but you won't be owning the original image. Now, that's why a lot of people...
Again, I have a question. So if you can't own the original image, then can the person, use copyright laws to
So
prevent
there
copying?
is... Yes, if they wanted to, but right now in the NFT world, they're not really enforcing that, if you'd like, because this is not about people making copies or not. Because what happens is a lot of people are saying that, okay, what is the value? Anyone can copy that. What's the point of me? And it's a digital image, and what's the point? So to counter that, the counter argument for it is that the Bored Ape Club, or this organization who released all of these, 1,000 images, limited to 1,000 or 10,000 or however, they are going to be member of these exclusive clubs where there's going to be meetups, where there's going to be other benefits, like you could only enter an exclusive area in a particular place, or you could only be invited to some event if you own this NFT of this project. So there are more benefit than just owning a digital image, but you could just be happy with just owning the digital image anyway, because that also you could then technically enforce copyright law and say that no one else can copy it. You can do that, but usually people are not doing that right now. But the whole point of NFT is that you're declaring the ownership to the world, and anyone can come and check in the blockchain who owns this. And that way, whatever the artwork is, you're the owner. Now, this is NFT is very highly related with in the art world. Now, in art world, there are many things that are that works a little bit differently than real world. For example, I could give you an example saying that there are three pieces of canvas with the same shade of red side by side. One is purposefully drawn that particular shade by a very famous artist, and that's exactly the painting, the completed painting. That's what they wanted. That famous artist, they created that artwork, and that is a shade of red, and that's it. And then the other one is someone else wanted to start a drawing, and they, for as a backdrop, they just started a painting, and this as a backdrop they created a red shade, shade of red onto the canvas. And the other one, the third one, is probably just how red the sky is at sunset next to the Nile River, and they're all the same shade of red. There is no difference at all. Which painting is more valuable to you? Because materialistically, they're all exact same thing. Now, there are obviously people would say one of them is more than the other, and they will grade them 1, 2, 3 or whatever, and they will all price them differently based on the desire. So in artwork, in art world, the way things are priced are differently, and ownership is a very important thing. Who owns an art? Even though there are thousands and millions of copies of Mona Lisa everywhere, everyone knows how Mona Lisa looks. But I think someone would pay millions or even billions to be able to own the original Mona Lisa, because it's the ownership of that original piece of art that has a specific value. So yeah, NFTs kind of ensures that whatever it is, it's a digital picture or digital anything, even it could be text or just writing or even an audio, but it can be publicly, declared to the world that I am the owner of it, and no one can take that away. The ownership, there is no one can replicate, and no one can con you by selling you a fake, because it's in the blockchain permanently etched who is the owner. So that's what makes an NFT, a valuable asset, because you know who the owner is. There is no way of conning anyone. There is no way of faking an artwork. And, as an added bonus, now recently, all of these projects, Bored Ape is just one project. There are many other projects that are in, there's Whale, and there are various projects. And these projects, the project owners, usually it's a company or a club, they give exclusive access to the owners. So that's another extra benefit of owning an NFT. So I feel like that kind of covers anyone who is talking about what's the point of owning a digital one, which can be copied. So yeah.
I have a question now. So you have explained the definition and you have given why it's needed. But where is NFT in all this? Is it the digital asset? Is it the transaction in the Bitcoin blockchain ledger? So what is NFT representing? So suppose I say, okay, I have an NFT. So does that mean I have an original digital asset, and it is now in the blockchain ledger, and that record I am carrying and that token is mine? So what is actually the NFT in all these different terminologies?
The NFT is the digital product, in sense of as I used Bored Ape as an example over and over again. There are various other I can't remember any other names at the moment, because Bored Ape is one of the most popular ones. So a picture of a Bored Ape, a cartoon representation, if you own an NFT, basically it means that you own that picture.
Okay.
Now, obviously,
And
that picture can be copied by everyone, but you are the owner of that picture.
that picture, the original one.
Yes.
But then
Now,
what about the creators? Do they not own do they not have the ownership just because they've created it? Like an artist creates a
so
painting.
yes, you create, or in the NFT world, you say you minted it in the blockchain. So an artist creates an art, a digital artwork, and then they mint it in blockchain. So basically, they publish it for the first time in marketplace, and then anyone can buy it. And when they buy, artist usually gets a royalty. So every time it changes a hand, the artist will get usually 5%, 10%, or whatever the artist decides in the beginning. He or she will always get a percentage of the buying price, which is also very good for artists worldwide, because artists usually don't get enough credit or enough, an artist could
Yeah.
have a masterpiece, but they don't have enough exposure. So someone buys it for $100, and then they takes it to a really exclusive place and sells it for $1 million, but the artist didn't get anything
Yeah.
in this scenario. But in this NFT world, the artist will always get a preset percentage as a royalty every time the NFT changes hands or changes ownership.
Oh, wow.
So that's also very good for artists. And yes, the artist initially owns it as he or she created it. And then once they put it in the marketplace, which is minting it, and then anyone can buy it and be owner of it. Artist obviously selling the ownership to the potential buyer. Now, yeah, so that's
So
that's
that's
how.
the digital asset itself is a NFT. And can I give NFTs for free? Like I
Yes.
create something and then I just give it to you, and you are now the owner. I mint it on the blockchain ledger. Does it cost me anything if I want to
Yeah,
use it?
that is very interesting. So there is quite a bit of cost associated with it. Now, the cost, no one else is profiting from it. Like, it's not like a third party who's making a lot of money by enabling you to mint it. Basically, minting means that you are basically adding this in the blockchain, which means that you have to make a transaction in the blockchain. So Ethereum transactions has a transaction fee. Any transaction in any blockchain usually has some sort of fee. Usually, sometimes the less popular blockchains have free transaction, but that's, there is usually a fee associated with it. And in Ethereum, you call it gas fee. And depending on the time of the day and day of the week, depending on how busy the network is, the gas fees goes up and down. Now, you have to pay that gas fee to be able to publish it in the blockchain. And then if someone wants to buy it, they have to make another transaction, because that transaction would prove the ownership, that this wallet owns this digital product now. So it has to change from this wallet to the other wallet, to the seller wallet, from the seller wallet to the buyer wallet. So all of these things require transaction fees. So these are transaction fees by Ethereum blockchain network, or whichever other blockchain network, there is a transaction fee. So that fee can become quite high. For example, I have purchased a Web3 domain, rinatmalik.crypto. And even though it's a domain, it's also an NFT. And I attempted to publish it just for fun of it. I don't know. I don't think anyone would want to buy rinatmalik.crypto, my own name. But for the fun, I just wanted to see, and the gas fee was about $120, which I didn't think that was worth my fun. So I didn't do it anymore. But yeah, if you want to publish in order to sell an NFT, and then someone could buy it for free, but they would still have to pay the transaction fee to change, to add that transaction in the
Add that
blockchain.
information in the ledger. So you mentioned about Ethereum, and Ethereum is mostly smart contract. So is there a contract where I say, okay, I am the creator and I now pass the ownership of this particular digital asset to this person. Say person A, I am person A, I pass the ownership to person B, Rinat Malik. And then it's a smart contract, it's there in the Ethereum blockchain, and then when you have to sell it to someone, you change that again, you write a new contract and you say, I, Rinat Malik, now I mean, I forgo my ownership and I pass the ownership to, say, Amit Sarkar back again, and that gets added to the blockchain, right?
Yes, that's essentially what a transaction is in Ethereum blockchain. That's kind of the definition of smart contract. Basically, in my mind, and I could be wrong actually, but in the blockchain, you're basically usually just in a ledger. What do? You say that transaction, from this wallet to this wallet, this is the amount. Now, I think in smart contracts, what you do extra is instead of saying this is the amount, you could say this is the digital information.
That is
So
the
this
asset,
wallet
yeah.
to that wallet, instead of the amount, the number of Ethereum coins, you say that, oh, this NFT.
Yeah, so
So
blockchain works like that.
yeah.
We mentioned the transaction of between A and B, but instead of transactions, we can have a book, we can have anything. It's a piece of
Yes,
information.
absolutely, and that's basically that piece of information is the NFT. Now, just to clarify, I mean, all of our examples were talking about images. It doesn't have to be images. It could be an audio file. It could be a text. It could be any digital information that
So
you could.
it's like a tweet, an Instagram post, a Facebook video, YouTube video, a news article.
So this is where it gets a little bit complicated because Twitter posts are owned by Twitter. How would you take ownership of that to be able to then later sell it? I mean, obviously the code itself, the text itself, if you wrote it and if you came up with that line, then you could say that I'm the owner of it and this is my NFT, I published it. That's a different story than a Twitter post because anything in Twitter which has gotten a number of responses, retweets, whatever, that's up to Twitter's world. That's not necessarily owned by you. the,
Interesting.
the, the,
So
the characters and the text is owned by you, but if you want to sell it as a Twitter post, that means that Twitter has some sort of association with it, which is not owned by yourself. So that's a different, that has a bit more complications to it.
then, say Taylor Swift releases an audio file and she says that I
Taylor's
own the
version.
NFT. That's
Oh,
the
okay.
NFT. Taylor Swift owns the NFT, and then she wants to sell that. Okay, I will sell the first audio song, first song that I ever recorded as an NFT to whoever is the highest bidder. Is that possible?
That is possible, but it's really interesting that you chose Taylor Swift as an example because there is something else that's happening right now in the music world where Taylor Swift has done some revolutionary situation where she published Taylor's version of some of her own songs, which is a different story altogether, but it's also very interesting in terms of
What do you mean
ownership.
by Taylor's version of her own song? Because I thought
So
she wrote her
basically,
songs.
she, a lot of the songs she wrote and then she composed and then she sang. And then she, recording studios or publishing studios or, these organizations purchased the copyright of the song, the voice that she sang because she went to sing in a recording studio. The publishing house sponsored it and they own that music that was created on the day. And then Taylor Swift obviously gave away the copyright, etc. Instead, in return of money, etc. But now what she didn't do is she didn't sell the music composition of the song. And she's also the creator of the music composition. Now, when she came back and went through these contracts, she realized that she owns the music composition, and now if she sings the song again and records it again, that is not owned by the publishing house,
And she can do
because
whatever she wants with it.
yeah, because she's the one who also wrote the music. She could just sing it again and then own the whole thing again. So basically, that's why you would now, if you go on YouTube or Spotify or various other streaming apps, you'll see there is a Taylor Swift, some popular song, and then there is a Taylor's version in bracket of the same song,
Ah,
but that is Taylor Swift sang it again and added with the music composition that she created, and she didn't sell the copyright of the music composition, so she could do whatever she wants with it. So that kind of took the music industry by storm, because these publishing houses
anyone can
lost
do
a
it.
lot of money. Yes, and they lost a lot of money because of it, because Taylor Swift kind of took away that opportunity. Now, um, obviously, to publish a song as an NFT, it's possible to do that. You need to be owning all aspects of it: the lyrics,
Okay.
uh, song, the music that goes with it. So you got to make sure that you own in order for you to be able to sell. Or it could be a publishing house who owns and who paid three different people, the lyricist, the music composer, and then created a song. And then the publishing house owns everything and they can sell it or mint it as an NFT. Yeah, that's also possible.
So it's like trading art. So art goes from one hand to another hand. It's an original piece of work. It goes from one hand to another hand, and an
Mm-hmm,
NFT can go from one hand to another hand. And whenever
mm-hmm.
it changes hand, that person owns the original version of that particular digital asset. So now it
Yeah.
means that if I own a car inside a metaverse and I have created it or I bought it from someone, then the ownership is mine, and no one can say outside the metaverse as well that that car doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the company that's hosting the metaverse. Is that correct?
Sorry, I didn't fully catch you there.
So basically, I own a car inside the metaverse because I
Uh-huh.
paid for it and I have the ownership. It's an NFT,
Yes, yeah.
and outside the metaverse, no one can say, even the people who have created the metaverse, that okay, Facebook is not the owner of that particular car. Amit Sarkar is the owner of the car.
Yes, yes. I mean, that's the beauty of NFT, and that's why Metaverse could talk to other companies' virtual worlds as well, because the ownership of your car is not controlled by Facebook or Google or Apple or anyone. Whether or not you own the car is etched in blockchain that you are the owner of that piece of digital asset. Now, Facebook could honor all the assets owned by all of in that blockchain. In that case, they will also have to honor yours. Or Facebook could decide that we're not going to honor any NFTs or any assets in Ethereum blockchain, which is obviously very unlikely, and it's detrimental for their business to do that, because
Okay.
then what's the
Yeah, yeah,
point?
yeah.
But yeah, so if you own, something, and it's, minted or etched in blockchain, Ethereum blockchain or wherever, then the ownership is determined by the blockchain. It's a public ledger. No one can change it. No one can has any authority of it. And if Facebook honors all the assets owned by everyone in Ethereum blockchain in Metaverse, then all of it will be there for everyone.
Wow, that is interesting. So that takes everything to the whole new level because now you can buy anything, prove your ownership, move from one place to another. It's like driving a car from one city to another, and you're still the owner of the car.
Yes, yes, absolutely. There are so many potential of when you merge all of these new technologies together. I mean, it's just mind-boggling how advanced it
So,
becomes.
okay, so uh, I'll dig a bit more deep. So I have an audio file. Say I'm a studio, I have an audio file, and I push it out, and people can buy a copy of that audio file. They don't own the original, but they buy a copy. So every time they buy a CD, they buy a DVD, it's a copy of the original song, and I can make a lot of money. Now, if I
Mhm.
want to sell the NFT, I sell the ownership, uh, and I sell it for $1 million, and someone then can enforce copyright. So I then cannot sell those DVDs or CDs in the future because I don't own the copyright anymore. I've sold it for $1 million to someone else and they own the ownership. And so they can
Yes.
exercise their right to prevent copying, or they can ask for money in return. So
Yes.
that's one thing. And then, so why would someone want to sell an NFT instead of selling copies of it? Because then you can mint more money out of it, right? If once you sell the ownership, you lose a mechanism to make money out of it. It does make sense, I understand, but why would, say, a studio lose ownership of something that it can make money from forever, say?
It's the argument of selling or buying anything, really, isn't it? The person who's selling, it has less value to them than the person who is buying. So when an interesting quote I've come across recently in stock market, right? So many big institutions and Wall Street investors and educated research analysts, etc. They're all buying and selling. A very expert person is deciding to buy the same share that someone else who is also probably very much expert is deciding to sell it. They're both thinking they're doing the right thing, but whether it's right or wrong, no one knows at that point. So it's about buying and selling. So say for example, you created a music, and you can let people stream for a charge or let people buy a copy of it, and you can make money. But you might think that the amount of money I'm making by streaming, I would rather sell the copyright, so let someone else make that money, but I want an upfront, cash in hand, $1 million for it, whatever.
Okay.
And you decide that your cash flow is more important to you, so you want to sell it. Or you might decide that, what, I want this to continue, so I will keep selling it, etc. So it's about that decision. So someone might want the cash flow, someone might want the upfront lump sum, or someone might want to continue. Based on that, they make their decision of buying and selling their artwork. And it's and that is the risk. That's why, some people obviously regretted selling, because after that it became very popular and viral, like Apple. Apple shares, there was one owner of Apple share at the
Yeah,
beginning.
you keep reading about it, that when he owned it, then he would have been like a millionaire or billionaire by now.
Yes, so
But
that kind of story. It's yeah.
so as a person, so I understand what an NFT is, and now I'm eager to buy something, say for £10, I want to buy an NFT. Where can I actually buy an NFT, and how can I create one? Two different
So
things.
in terms of creating one, depending on your standard of quality, you probably already have everything that you need to create. You can just create an NFT out of the last picture you've taken in your phone. So you don't necessarily need to on purpose go and draw a digital drawing. You could just make anything into an NFT. So in terms of how to create one, the digital product itself, it's if you are a digital artist and if you want to create a really nice image or draw one, that's up to you. But you can just use your last photo or any photo that you have, or any image, or any video or any audio file, whatever. You could just record yourself singing a song very badly and then publish that as an NFT. I'm not saying you would be badly, I would be, but it doesn't have to be a professionally created piece of artwork. Now, when it comes to publishing it,
No, hang on. So I want to get this correct. So I have a photo and I create an NFT. And in order for me to create an NFT, I need to do an Ethereum transaction. It could be Ethereum or it could be anything. And then I need to record that I have created this photo using my phone on this date, and now it is etched in the blockchain. Now, whoever is, so I just wanted to understand this
of
process.
course, of course. So this is, you don't have to record any of that. You basically have a digital asset, which is a photo, and you want to make that transaction, which is the first transaction, which will add that photo in the blockchain for public to sort of acknowledge. Now that's called minting. That's the first time you are adding that digital image or digital product into the blockchain. Now, first you have to decide which blockchain you want to publish to. Ethereum is the most popular and also is the most expensive one. So it will cost you as well as it will cost other people to buy and sell. So you might want to think about that. There is Polygon, I think, as another blockchain, which is free as of last 2 months ago when I checked. And both of these blockchains are available in a very popular NFT marketplace called OpenSea.com or IO, I don't know, but if you just Google Open and Sea as in the body of water, SEA, OpenSea, and then the first result should be that website. It's very popular for NFT marketplace. We're not sponsored by OpenSea or any other marketplaces. There are quite a few Google-based NFT marketplaces. There are quite a few. There's Rarible. There are various other and some of them specializes in different kinds of artwork or different kind of benefits or properties, etc. So do your research on checking out which one you want to start with. But OpenSea is the most popular one, as far as I know. So you can go to OpenSea and then you create your account, and there is a button or a place where you can click on minting your NFT, which basically, if you go through that process, of uploading your image or audio file or video file or whatever, your digital product, and then you pay the fee, they will do the etching, they will do the adding into Ethereum blockchain or whichever blockchain. They probably offer two, Ethereum and Polygon. Might be getting the second name wrong, but you will see the options.
We can do some Google search and then we can publish it as
Yeah,
description so people
so
can
now
look.
Yeah, and then you basically go through the minting process, and then you basically minted it, and then paid the fees if necessary, and then it's available for anyone else to buy, and it's also kind of listed in OpenSea marketplace for anyone else to see and buy. They will also be able to see how many people bought in the past, at what prices, and all of that history as well. You could also add more description and stuff, how and when it was taken or recorded, and then what extra benefits they might get. You might release like 10 images of random things, but you could say that whoever are these 10 people who owns these 10 images, they will get 1 hour of consultancy time with Amit Sarkar every month. So you could tell that you're basically telling them, just they won't just own that digital product, but they will also get this side benefit of it, and that side benefit might be more valuable than anything else. And that way it's more precious. More people would want to buy it because you are established professional. People would want your consultancy for their testing and other technical needs, and they might actually want to buy that NFT just to be able to talk to you for an exclusive time with you at 1 hour every month or whatever you specify. So yeah, that's how it goes at the moment.
You said we can select any blockchain. What happens to my NFT if that blockchain disappears tomorrow? And
Your
that has happened,
NFT,
right?
as far as I know, your NFT will also disappear, unfortunately. That's why you want to
Ah,
choose a blockchain which is quite established, like Ethereum. That's why it's expensive, right? Polygon is also quite popular, but again, there are all of these cryptocurrencies with different blockchains like Solana, like Matic, and these are providing their own blockchains which are less expensive, but obviously there is a chance that might come to an end. Very unlikely, though. I mean, these some of the top 10 or top 20 cryptocurrencies reached quite high market cap, and even though right now the market is going down quite a bit, even then they are quite established, and a lot of assets, a lot of artists, and a lot of people have put a lot of assets in. So a large number of people has a vested interest for it to not go down. So it's not just the company that's running it. It's now in public, in the hands of public.
Yeah,
So
because if someone, I mean, if you're minting it, of course you're paying a fee to the person. So I'm paying fees to OpenSea as well. And if they are
yeah,
making money, it's in their interest to maintain it. If no one is maintaining it, no one can make money. Okay.
and and if you own a NFT, and if you published it in say Polygon blockchain, you're also interested. You're also you also
Yeah.
don't want the Polygon blockchain to go
Yeah,
away.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's I would say these are quite unlikely scenarios, and the chances of that happening could be compared to a small country's government falling down. So you might obviously we take calculated risks, and I in my opinion, and this is not a financial advice of any sort, the probability of that happening is so low that you could still go ahead with some confidence.
Okay. So yeah, thanks for clarifying all those. So now we go into buying NFT. So if I want to buy an NFT, say
Mhm.
Taylor's version of her song, where do I go and buy an NFT?
So again, you go to an NFT marketplace, like OpenSea and many others. So obviously, artists publish their NFTs in different marketplaces. So whatever you want to buy might be available in a particular marketplace. So you go there, or you go to a marketplace of your choice and then find whatever you like, whatever is listed. Now, in order to buy something, you have to have some money in your wallet. So when I say money, nowadays money is cryptocurrency. So if they're charging in Ethereum, then you have to have some Ethereum in your wallet, the wallet that you're going to pay from. Now, recently I've heard some scams and some, events where people lost money, because there is a vulnerability where when you are paying, I don't know exactly that part of the story, so I'm not going to go into too much detail without knowing, but there is a vulnerability where while making the transaction, someone could probably take other cryptocurrencies that are stored in the same wallet, or something
Oh
similar.
wow. And is it on
So
only a particular marketplace or any marketplace?
it could be in any marketplace. It's a thing about the wallet rather than the marketplace. So what I would advise is, say, for example, you have a main wallet, say in Coinbase or in Binance, or your own, independent wallet. Only transfer the money to your buying wallet where you're going to pay from, the amount that you need to just pay for whatever you're going to buy. So say, for example, you go to OpenSea and you find an NFT, which is, they're selling it for 1 Ethereum. So transfer in your OpenSea wallet or MetaMask or some of the popular wallets that are attached as a Chrome extension or whatever. You have, say, for example, five Ethereum in your Coinbase wallet or your main wallet, which is not linked to anything else. Don't transfer more than 1 Ethereum to the wallet where you're going to pay from. So you transfer from your main wallet to your paying wallet, 1 Ethereum, and then you go to OpenSea, you pay for that NFT with 1 Ethereum, and that's
Yeah,
done
so
transaction.
so
You
no one
don't.
can steal the other NFTs. Sorry, other Ethereums.
Yeah. So that's something to keep in mind. It is recently happening, I've heard, and it's something to be careful of.
Okay, so we have created an NFT, we have bought an NFT, and I'm guessing it's the same process for selling an NFT. You put it on the marketplace if anyone is willing to buy. So
Uh-huh.
the other thing is, once I buy an NFT, where is it stored? Is it still stored in the marketplace, or what happens to that NFT?
So you can decide to have it remain visible in OpenSea or any other marketplace, uh, but it is stored in the ownership information is stored in the blockchain. So even if you don't, put it up for sale, someone can go to the blockchain and see that you own that NFT. But as soon as you buy, it automatically kind of gives you the option that do you want to relist it so someone else can buy it if they want to. And then you can set a price and whatever.
Oh, interesting. So I can relist it, and if I say want to download that asset and take it off the marketplace, can I do that?
So you can download it, but downloading doesn't really mean anything because anyone can download it, right? It's the ownership
So,
of
but
the.
the ownership is of the asset. So, if that asset is in the crypto in OpenSea,
Mhm.
then how am I the owner? It's like I buy a car, but it's always in a garage of the car manufacturer or the
So
marketplace.
this is very interesting because yes, you buy a car, you get the registration paper, so you're the owner of the car. But a digital image is, car has a function that you go from place A to B. But a digital image doesn't have a function like that. Now,
No,
um,
it has. See, so I can use that image as my profile picture. I can use that as a wallpaper.
yes,
I
yes,
can use it in my screensaver. I can use it as a phone wallpaper. I can do many
yes,
things with
yes, you
that.
can do all of that, but
Yeah.
anyone else can also do all of that
Yes,
by
but
downloading
if
that.
if I'm the owner and so I pay money and then I own that asset and that asset is there in OpenSea, what's the point? But then how do I move it from OpenSea to some other marketplace?
It's not necessarily in OpenSea. It's listed in OpenSea, but the fact that you own that digital asset is, recorded in the blockchain.
Yeah,
So
it's like the registration paper that okay, I am the owner of the car and the car is in that garage. I take it out from that garage and I move it to another garage. The thing is, can I
yeah,
do
but
that with
DVLA knows that you own the car.
yes,
You know,
it
in
knows.
UK DVLA
Yes,
and in the
yes.
US,
So suppose I buy the asset in OpenSea and then I want to sell it on a different marketplace. Can I do that? Because
I
I
have
own the
not I
NFT.
have not personally done that, so I don't want to say with too much confidence, but I would imagine you should be able to do that because that information is independently in Ethereum or whatever blockchain, and whichever other marketplace also sells and buys and sells in that blockchain should be able to just find your asset straight away as soon as you give them your wallet address. So
Because that's
yes,
how it should work in metaverse, right? Because if I buy
yes,
something in Facebook's metaverse, I need to be able to go to some other metaverse, say Apple or Google, and I should be able to use it there because I'm the owner,
absolutely.
right?
That is my understanding. The only reason I'm not confident is because I haven't done it myself yet. But what I understand and what I know, and that is absolutely the case. Yes.
Okay. Now this has been very interesting talk, Rinat. I think yeah, it gives you a whole idea. I to be honest, I didn't know much about NFT except the full form. I didn't know what fungible means, so thank you so much for explaining that. And I think we have gone through the whole journey of how to create, how to buy, how to sell, why we
Mhm.
need it, what can you do with it, what are the application, and why now. I think we also need to answer the question of why now, and the reason why now is because of blockchain. Because blockchain
Yes,
never
yes,
existed before, and
yes.
because it exists
Blockchain is
now, this is
yeah.
one of the applications of blockchain.
Yes, and that's what enables this kind of artwork. Before it was, I think there was a famous story where I think Hitler's right hand man, he was an avid art collector, and then there was a con man who could draw exact replications of various famous drawings, and this con man sold a painting that he sort of copied as original, and this person, before he was executed or something, he was told that, look, that painting that you owned with a lot of money, that was actually a fake painting. And his face said that his first time he's heard of evil in his life is how the storyteller described it. But yeah, basically this kind of con or fake artwork, it's just impossible in NFT world because everyone knows who is the owner. Even then, there are newest forms of scams and fake. That's a different story, and it is happening of fake. Some like, for example, Bored Apes, the ones that I've said. So they released 1,000 or 10,000 copies of different apes. That company is the owner, and once they got popular, another company sort of named it something similar, Board 8 123, and then they published another 1,000, trying to imitate the popular one. But a lot of people also paid a lot of money to buy that, but that wasn't the original company released digital assets. But then again, I mean, of course, the humans will find ways to new ways to
Yeah.
scam. But this
And that's
is
why I think we
basically,
need regulation because in a market like this where anyone can create a marketplace where you can buy and sell NFTs, I think it's very important that governments, I mean, not immediately because it's still, I think, not that popular. Once it gets very popular, once metaverse comes and once actually people want to start buying and selling digital assets and even trading, I think then you need some kind of regulation to protect people's assets or money. I'm not sure if it's the regulation to be governed by the government or it's an understanding or a standard by the big companies, the tech companies. But I think it's needed because you're right, such scams can easily happen because I just created a marketplace out of nowhere and I just
yeah.
created these 1,000 badges out of nowhere and I charge £1,000 per asset and I make a lot of money and then I just disappear.
Yeah, yeah, there are various scams. I mean, we could just have another episode of all the different ways people, are making and scamming, different money. And NFT is also like a hotbed for money laundering as well. So there are various negative connotations and negative things that are associated with it. And we could, I mean, if you're interested, I can go through in detail in another episode, but that
We
will
should do
take
that.
another hour for
Yeah,
sure.
we should do that. I think, yeah, online scams. Yeah.
Or
How do,
just scamming in NFT, that will
oh,
take an hour.
scamming in NFTs. Oh my God.
Yeah. So and yeah, of course, for other visibility, we should also do online scams another time. But yeah, definitely. But yeah, NFT. The point of blockchain is that everything is public and everyone knows who owns what. So that's the benefit that blockchain or NFT gives. And just going back to the example you gave about cars, that you own a car, but this is where people might initially get a little bit apprehensive in terms of owning an NFT, because cars has a function and your digital image that you own in an NFT doesn't really have that function. But let me go back to Mona Lisa picture again. The Mona Lisa, the image, the actual painting, it doesn't really have a function other than
Function.
the fact that you can look at it. But you can also look a very high resolution copy of it and get the exact same, visual, either way. But the fact that you own the real original painting of Mona Lisa is something else, even
You get
though
the bragging rights.
yeah. So that ownership is what is important in NFT world. But again, as I said, it could also come with a function. For example, if you had 10, Amit Sarkar, logo that you sold as NFT, and they will get 1 hour of your consultancy time for 12 times every month or once every month. And that is a function that they're getting out of owning the NFT. So absolutely. There could be functions, but that is added. And if you're buying an NFT and if you're buying it for functions, then you really should look at all the projects and what they're offering on the side, as well as owning the NFT. And also, again, we're going back to scamming a little bit. There could be companies who are releasing and promising a lot of functions like exclusive meetups or invitations of something, or a boat party or whatever, but they might not follow through with it. So you want to do your own research if you're going for that part of the value. But NFT promises value of ownership, and that's what you definitely get, whatever it is.
Okay, so it's a very, I mean, a gray area because I mean we talked about NFTs, but because of all the scams, people might be apprehensive. Even I'm apprehensive now because if I own something, so let me get this straight. So it's basically you're buying something and then you're trying to sell it. At the moment, that's the function. You claim the ownership, and we are not that rich. I'm not that rich.
Mhm.
So I'm not like a millionaire or billionaire. So basically, I can't buy, say, Taylor Swift's original song for $1 million. So I'll buy just a digital image for fun.
Mhm.
And because I bought it for fun, and I can't do anything with it, I just want to sell it. So is buying and selling NFTs just like buying and selling stocks?
No, no, not at all. Well, no, fully. I think it's more like buying and selling artwork. So
Buying and selling artwork. Okay.
yes,
Okay.
so artwork's function is different to different people.
Yeah.
You might, might be really valuable to you to own an NFT, that particular NFT, but it might not be anything to some other people. But it might be a lot more valuable to someone else. So yeah, right now, you might just buy a digital asset of anything which is not very much pricey, maybe $200 or whatever, and then maybe after a year that particular piece of digital art ownership becomes really valuable, and then you get to sell it. But you might just be buying it for the very fact that you own that piece of artwork. So it's more like owning a piece of artwork rather than stock, because the stock has a lot of other things associated with it, which is not
Okay.
necessarily.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So it means that I can buy a digital asset today and I can hold on to it and sell it maybe 10 years in the future because I know that the value will increase and it'll uh,
You hope
might
that the
you
value
hope.
will
Yeah,
increase.
yeah. It's like I mean, I had a colleague of mine, ex-colleague, and he used to collect these video game cartridges, Nintendo, Sega cartridges, and he used to collect based on the catalog. So Nintendo, Sega, they used to publish a catalog, and in that catalog they would mention the games, and he would try to collect that, and then I mean it's like artwork. So he used to then trade it for another, say, asset and make money from it. He was a
Mhm.
collector as well as trading it for money as well. And he was saying that, see, no one is playing with cartridges anymore. So their values are the value of owning a cartridge is actually increasing. And there are people in the world who are willing to pay for it. It's like artwork. So the more older it
Yes.
gets, the more valuable it becomes.
Absolutely. I mean, artwork has no form really. I mean, it could be like 50-year-old baseball cards. A lot of people sell, some of those sell for tens of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
And, these cartridges as well. Yes, I'm aware of it. Yeah. I mean, you know, it could, someone, a millionaire could be reminiscent of these things, at their last stages, and they could pay good money to buy those cartridges just to be able to reminisce their childhood. Or it might mean nothing. For example, someone like me, because I've never, been too fascinated about it. I did own some, some game cartridges, but as I grew up, I kind of grown out of it. But yeah, it's different value for it to different people. But yeah, you never know what would be um, priced at what level when it's considered art.
Okay. Well, that was a good conversation, Rinat, about NFTs, and I hope our audience finds it very interesting as I did because I think it's a whole new world out there. It's still a very it's early stages. The technology is still maturing. There are a lot of things that people have to be aware of, which I think we have covered a bit. So I just hope that whoever is from our audience is trying to buy an NFT, they just take extra precaution and just be extra careful. You are going to take a risk by buying an NFT, so just be aware of it and try to do your homework. And yeah, it's a fun piece of technology. It is going to boom sooner or later, uh, thanks to the blockchain. So yeah, read more about it and yeah, enjoy.
Yes, yes, absolutely. As Amit said, do be cautious about it, but I would still say don't be too apprehensive. Do it. Still do go and buy one and play with it. It is worth it, and there is a lot of potential for it to go a lot bigger than what it is. It's still at its infancy, the technology. So yeah, do your homework and all of the cautious things that Amit said, but I would say then after that, go and do it still. So yeah, thank
I'll
you
do
all.
that. I'll do that.
Hopefully I've explained it well, and hopefully this talk was helpful to you guys. And yeah, please let us know what else you want us to talk about. And yeah, thank you very much for listening today, the audience, and hope to see you guys next week.
Well, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.